They not like us, they want to be us. Sing! I met a white man in the mountains high, like Moses he thought he was. Claimed to be a seer, but was blinded by Jah light. Under every stone he turned in search of truth, like the old Meg heads, the temples of Angkor Wat, the holy temples of Shiva. In India black faces were there, much to his surprise. From the black gods he could not hide, cursed he could not sleep. Life filled with tragedy he did meet. He saw black faces from clouds in the sky. From the elevated places, looking down on earth, he saw the ancient black faces. All of this did he recorded. Like a narcissist, he thought he was the chosen one. In his madness, he thought his collection of picture rocks and stones collected in his wooden safe was the Ark of the Covenant. Like from the Gospel of Thomas 77, Jesus says, I am the light which is on them all. I am the all, and the all has gone out from me, and the all has come back to me. Cleave the wood, I am there. Lift the stone, and thou shalt find me there. In me the cursed human who now calls me a racist found an open ear. Would bombard me with his madness until I had to let him know I had also my work to do. Rasta man, he must say, for your mistakes you cannot blame another man. Know that evil is oft times ignorance, not knowing itself to be. So once I sat with the wise man, to me he came from the book Luke 6, verse 45, he sang it in a song saying, a good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaks. The old man is a fool that thinks as a young man that his mistakes can be placed upon the head of the wise. For this is the wisdom of the poet Ital. Iman. Evil is oftentimes ignorance, not knowing itself to be so. Yes, people are demons too. Through the fires of time like clay vessel, burned in the kiln is the soul shaped, and the mind made stronger. Rastafari is the demon slayer. Dance children under this blood moon, we rejoice. Mother Earth positions herself directly between the sun and the moon, obstructing sunlight and casting a shadow over the moon's face. Gangsta children dance, the moon is smiling. 7 days later on March 21, Kali Yuga end as comes. The 7 days before Ramadan is done, Ital Iman he must say, you are now in tune on the one, the force itself. At this time we call it the Holy Master Blaster jamming. Kali Yuga end has come, brace yourself, listen to the dance of the Hopi, the Dogon. Purification hours now, Nibiru round is near. Polar caps are melting, land mass shifting. People are running helter-skelter from the face of the splitting sun. Kali Yuga end has come.
Kali Yuga end has come. Brace yourself, listen to the dance of the Hopi, the Dogon. Purification hour is now, Nibiru round is near. Polar caps are melting, land mass shifting. People are running helter-skelter from the face of the spitting sun.
We don't know how we and them are gonna work this out. No, we don't know how we and them are gonna work this out. But someone will have to pay for the innocent blood that they shed every day. Oh, children, mark my words, is what the Bible says. Oh, yeah. Oh, we don't know how we and them are gonna work this out.
We don't know.
No, we don't know how we and them are gonna work this out.
No, we don't know.
We don't know how we and them are gonna work this out.
Greetings and salutations of peace. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. I am Ital Iman. There are things that are pressing, there are things that are very apropos at this point, urgent, etc. We wish to speak today, Memorial Day, Chap-Book 5/26/2025, the poetry of Ital, Iman. Regardless of what we hear in the ear, there is one thing that is very pressing we would like to speak of: the Golden Dome, Reagan's Star Wars, and the Culford Tree Barrel Crop Circle, 18 May 2025. You are now in tune. We will speak of climate changing, which is very apropos. The current pole shift is important, as the Hopi has pointed out to us, as the Dogon has pointed out to us. These are the important things, and the propaganda, we can listen, keeping up with current events, but we must focus and meditate on things that are important. And currently, we must work on our spirituality, our spiritual and physical well-being, as self-preservation is the first law of nature. So we cannot be distracted by Babylon's propaganda. The recent crop circle, 18 May 2025, revealed to us a coming drought. That's the root of it, but a coming famine, like it was the last time that Nibiru came into our area. The Israelites were in bondage in Egypt, led by Moses. Moses means he who was drawn out of the water. Esoterically, Moses became celibate. He stopped the life force. Therefore, it was written, he who was drawn out of the water, pictured, described as his mother placed him upon the water in the bulrush in a basket, and the Egyptian woman drew him out of the water. Esoterically, Moses became celibate, stopped the waters of life. You are now in tune on the one, the force itself of this time. We call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, the Four Corners area has been experiencing extreme drought. Many of you may doubt it. The Four Corners area in America's Southwest, if we look through that window, since January 2018, there has been extreme drought. In April, drought conditions in certain areas intensified and have since persisted at the most severe level, labeled exceptional drought, potentially leading to widespread crop losses and water emergencies. Throughout U.S. history, there have always been droughts in the western half of the country from time to time. But what we are dealing with now is currently alarming. Scientists tell us that a multi-year mega drought has developed in the southwestern portion of the country, and this is the worst year, i.e. 2018, of that mega drought so far by a wide margin. The intelligence, the data, i.e., tells us if conditions do not radically improve soon, we are coming to have a major agricultural disaster on our hands. Some farmers have already decided not to plant crops at all in that year, 2018. But many others have decided to plant anyway, knowing that if enough rain doesn't come, their crops will certainly fail, as we have brought forth to you. In this discourse already, the current crop circle, the second crop circle of this year, 2025, reveals to us the coming drought. The Four Corners, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah, is the epicenter of this drought, said Brian Bush, climatologist at the National Drought Mitigation Center at the University of Nebraska. And we quote him saying, when droughts like this happened long ago, the people living there just had to move. The western U.S. has had no shortage of dry spells over the last year, thanks to the failed southwest summer monsoon. Drought is not just a lack of rain, it is a prolonged precipitation deficit that can and will affect all things you are now into. Even a desert can be under drought conditions. In an area that averages 6 inches of rainfall per year, plants and animals thrive. If the rain stops, the consequences will be deadly. We feel this is directly related to Hopi prophecies. Yesaya Rastafari is the branch that grew out of the root of Jesse. Haile Selassie is the rod which came forth, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 11:12. We are very concerned with the area called the Four Corners. As Hopi prophecy states, this will be a fail-safe area for the chosen and the elect. We know that strategically, due to Star Wars, etc., the Golden Dome, that the powers that be are planning to do battle with the goddess, which is very ignorant, simply ignorant, but they have placed booby traps in areas where they know that the chosen and the elect will be safe. So this war that we see, the propaganda that we hear, that's between different countries, it is actually in all reality against the chosen and the elect. The one world order is a pivotal reality, so they are not fighting against each other. It is simply propaganda. I am aware that what I am saying is detrimental to that order, and there is a great possibility that this information be censored. But we're going to think positive, because as the prophet has said already, when we're moving in the positive, our destination is the brightest star. So we have just as much right to speak of our safety as the propagandist does. Therefore, the spirit of our ancestors is with us. You are now in tune. Fact is, there are certain codes, so if we appear to speak out of context, bear with us, because everything from the tiniest atom to the largest star is connected. Allah, what you call God, or the reality of God, dwells within me as me, dwells within you as you. From the tiniest atom to the largest star is He. So if you would bear with us, you will see that everything in the end fuses into one great synthesis. America is, as some of the black content presenters say, ancient Egypt. This is the cradle of civilization. Fact is, corn, and I was the first person that brought this information to the public in the year 2018. Now people realize this fact, but I can prove that I am the origin from my work. Fact is, corn was created in the Americas about 6,500 years before Islam and the Holy Quran. Corn was exported, or shall we say scattered. Surah 51, El Dariyat, the winnowing winds, deals with agriculture. On one level, it is a great metaphor, allegory, and simile. El Dariyat, the scatterers, the winnowing winds. We say scattered from the Americas to other parts of the world, corn was. Our thesis is, when Quran was written, corn was not in Saudi Arabia, i.e. Mecca. Yet in Surah, i.e. chapter 44, the drought, we find what we call the mystical verse 44:10. So wait for the day when the heaven brings a clear drought. 44:11. Enveloping men. This is a painful chastisement, and this is what the current crop circle is telling us. 44:11. Enveloping men. This is a painful chastisement. 44:24. And leave the sea behind calm. Surely they are a host to be drowned. So we see in that tying, old Babylon, Pharaoh drowned, Moses led the children across the Red Sea. And this is what Quran says. Listen most attentively. So wait for the day when the heaven brings a clear drought, enveloping men. This is a painful chastisement. And leave the sea behind calm. Surely they are a host to be drowned. How many of the gardens and springs they left behind, and cornfields and noble places. What we see here is Allah in Quran chapter 44 speaks of a time of an exodus or a people fleeing the time of great drought brought on by him in the land where corn is grown or originated, also making reference to the time of Moses and Noah. The Four Corners area of the Hopi is bordered by 4 sacred mountains. You're now in tune. The spiritual center within a sacred site, our prophecies say, will have special purpose in the future for mankind to survive, also for man to survive, and now should be left in its natural state. All nations must protect this special center. Thomas Ben-Ktifa explains some of the meanings he tells us of. And by the way, I had a chance to speak with Thomas Ben-Ktifa, the Hopi elder chosen to deliver the Hopi prophecy to the world before he went to the United Nations to deliver that message. Your brother, the Rastafari, Ital, Iman, spoke with Thomas Ben-Ktifa as Bohana, the elder brother that was to return at the end of time with the missing piece of the Hopi stone tablets kept by Grandfather Martin, which I conferred with the year 2012, 12/21, 2012, time of the galactic alignment. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamin. I am Ital, Iman. Thomas Ben-Ktifa explains the Hopi medicine wheel. The circle with the 4 zeros and cross within symbolizes the Four Corners region where Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico meet, a very high energy vortex. The circle represents no end, the infinite great spirit. The Indians believe we are living in the 4th world, preparing to go in the 5th world after the 2 crows that guard the 2 poles leave their position. The 4th world is about to be destroyed. The 2 crows have left their position. This destruction was foretold. Those indigenous ones, Indians as Hopi, or indigenous people, they are the oldest red man upon this planet, created from the union of the Olmec, i.e. Anunnaki, and the Tibetans or Chinese. You are now in tune. The Hopi migrated to the Four Corners area via Mexico, stopping at the 3 mesas, which are aligned with the 3 stars in the belt of Orion, as the 3 stars in the belt of Orion points to Sirius. 3 stars, i.e. the 3 mesas of Hopi, points to Chaco Canyon, which represents Sirius, the land of the Anasazi. You are now in tune. On the one, the force itself at this time, we call it the Holy Master Blaster Jamming. As the prophet has said already, we free our people with the music. Yes, I am. We are living in the time of the ending of the 4th world. We are walking into the 5th world. This is the time that the world was destroyed. This destruction was foretold. Those Indians who had listened were guided to places of safety underground by the ant people. The Hopi word for ant is Anu, by the Anu people. They were led to safety by the Anunnaki. You are now in tune. Those Indians who had listened were guided to places of safety underground after the 5th world, i.e. after the 4th world was destroyed, i.e. we are walking into the 5th world. Yes, I am. They were instructed to spread out in the 4 directions, north, south, east, west. 4 also represents the major, i.e. the 4 elements of nature: fire, water, air, and earth, and the 4 colors, races of man. My late great friend, brother, elder, guardian of the Hopi sacred stone tablets, Grandfather Martin Gash Wesimawa, Ma, traditional Hopi elder. He was a member of the Fire Clan. At the beginning of this cycle of time, long ago, the Great Spirit came down, i.e. Anunnaki, Masau, and he made an appearance and he gathered the peoples of this earth together, they say, on an island which is now beneath the water, i.e. Atlantis. Basically all of the Americas, but specifically Florida, the Tampa Bay area. So he gathered the people of this earth together, they say, on an island which is now beneath the water. And he said to the human beings, I'm going to send you to 4 directions, and over time, I'm going to change you to 4 colors. This is a Hopi lore, the Hopi prophecies. But I'm going to give you some teachings, and you will call these the original teachings, and when you come back together with each other, you will share these so that you can live and have peace on earth, and a great civilization will come about, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and the branch shall grow out of his roots. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Yahudah from the 4 corners of the earth. So we realize that the Rastafari, i.e. the rod of Jesse, Haile Selassie, we are a nation, the Rastafari, created unto him by his subtle majesty. We are the Hopi elder brother. We are in all reality, we represent the Dogon. We are the Hopi elder brother, Bohana. We are the return of Bohana, the boat of Noah. We have the missing link or the missing part of the Hopi stone tablet. We tell you to prepare for Izube Mini, the day of the earth and the fish. The Hopi, Dogon, Olmec, Maya, who are the Anunnaki, and the Rastafari, the ancient Egyptians. We come to reclaim the pyramids. You are now in two. This is Nuwabu, the Etheric people's spiritual science. Nuwabu is right information. Information placed right in order, i.e., right information. The mystic Malachi York brought forth this information. It is correctly explained by your brother, the Rastafari, Ital, Iman. You are now in two. In the beginning, we are speaking of the drought, the golden dome, etc., Star Wars. In the beginning, corn is the key, the inside, the symbol. While the wild ancestor of corn is probably teosinte, which grows in Mexico. People have been farming corn since about 7,500 BC. By 1000 AD, the Iroquois were growing corn further north, and then in the 1500s, Europeans spread corn to the rest of the world. The Islamic culture began about 1400 years ago. You will always hear, according to the solar calendar, around 650 AD. Corn has been known, as we know it today, would not exist if it wasn't for humans that cultivated it. In the literature, they're called humans, but they were the gods, the Anunnaki, who cultivated and developed it. It is a invention of men. The literature say humans, but it was an invention of the Olmec Maya, who were the gods, in essence, God, a tangible God. The plant does not exist naturally in the wild. It can only survive if planted and protected by people, by man, mind, or the mannequins, the humans. Scientists believe people living in central Mexico developed corn at least 7,000 years ago. As a matter of fact, the Anunnaki did develop corn over 7,000 years ago. It was started from the wild grass called teosinte. Teosinte looked very different from our corn today. The kernels were small and were not placed close together like kernels on the husk ear of modern corn. Also known as maize, Indians throughout North and South America eventually depended upon the crop for much of their food, and it was a perfect food designated for us by the gods, so we can see why the evil geneticists genetically engineered it that we would not get the benefits of it. As when the Nomo, i.e. Anunnaki, came to earth, they brought 8 grains, and millet was one of those grains. So, from Mexico, maize, as we know, corn, spread north into the southwestern United States and south down the coast to Peru. Over 1,000 years ago, as Indian people migrated north to eastern woodlands, present-day North America, they brought corn with them. So when the Europeans, like Columbus, made contact with the indigenous people of the Americas, they incorporated corn into their lives and they spread the corn around. So, about 1400 years ago, Muhammad received the Quran. Maize, also known as corn, is a cereal grain, and it speaks of corn in Quran, but we know that Quran, i.e., that maize is a sacred crop of the Americans, but yet we have it in Quran. And the reason it is in Quran was the allegory, metaphor, simile that explains the coming drought. So the current crop circle brought that forward to us. So the African countries, the Congo area, Ethiopia, around the 16th century, corn was there, the Niger area, and everything was spread there. So, to make a long story short, we are in a very crucial area at this point as Nibiru is nearing, which depicts the ancient Exodus, the allegory, the metaphor, simile from the script. We are becoming free by nature. Nature is, in essence, the real revolutionary. The black people have been bamboozled, hoodwinked, run amok. We have the African G.I. Joe, Tore, puppet for the system. But nature will free us. Count on it as Nibiru come. Anunnaki is coming, so we have the Golden Dome, etc. Star Wars, so we are asking you to be prepared for that. So this is the essence of this. There's a lot more that we would like to discuss, but inshallah, you can check our videos and learn more about what we're talking about. But the corn man did his dance again, stuck his crooked stick into the muddy pond by the road. You are now in tune. This is the poetry of Ital, Iman. The corn man did his dance again, stuck his crooked stick into the muddy pond by the road, leading from hell and destruction. The crows danced with him, and I heard the corn man say, we just waiting the people to die. And the crows chanting as to answer him, falling, falling, falling like flies, falling like flies. The crow that sat at the North Pole changed places with the one at the South Pole, passing each other, asking if speaking a code or password. I heard them say in harmony, all at one time, all at the same time, as if from an eerie movie. The poles are shifting. So the exodus of Moses and the children of Israel thus are 3,470 years between 1446 BC and 2025 BC. Now, the elliptical orbit of Nibiru, 3,600 years. So that's just 130-year difference. That's close enough. Nibiru is coming in now. So the exodus of Moses at that time. So it was 3,470 years between 1446 BC when the exodus of Moses was. Moses led the children out of Egypt 1,446 BC. So if we subtract 1,446 BC from 2025, that's 3,470 years ago. So Nibiru's elliptical orbit is 3,600 years. So the distance between the time of the flood and now is 3,470. That's real. That's like 130-year difference. So it don't really have to be like on point. The mothership will fly like it always does. We are in an urgent state right now, a very pivotal point. I am your brother, the Rastafari, Ital, Iman. You are now in tune.